Yes, I do have a life. Just like you, I have a normal life, doing normal things like normal folks. Sometimes I don't spend a lot of time showing you the private parts of my life. I haven't really shown a lot, and I kind of want to keep it that way to a certain extent. But I think it's also very important to show other aspects. Obviously, I can't take my camera into my working life, but we all have our normal lives, and I think there's something that happens often in social media is that we often see PRs being posted and perfect pictures of physiques and whatnot, and not that we conclude very quickly, but subconsciously we can start to think that every time you see Ivan, he does this. Every time you see this guy, he does this. A lot goes on behind the scenes, and this is something that it's healthy to kind of look at. It kind of gives you a perspective of what's actually going on. For instance, today I did work. I worked for the first 8 hours of the day. Then I had to run around and go to the city with the missus. We got some lunch. You can see what I ate there. I had some alcohol. I had some food. We ate way too much. Got home, played with the kids, and then went to train. And the training session started at 7 p.m. after a long day. I got up at 6 a.m. So I'm training now at 7 p.m. And I'm not motivated. I've got a full belly of food. I've got alcohol in the system. I'm not all that thrilled to train on a day I know I'm not going to do anything spectacular in the gym. It's one of those feelings where you kind of go through the motions. But these going through the motions days are also required. And I often talk about this, why it's important to kind of do these sessions, because, okay, physically, you're probably not going to be doing anything fantastic. But I think mentally, this is where you are, let's say, doing sets and reps for the mental aspect of your being. And for anybody that knows anything about life, you will know that life is mostly mental. The challenges that we face in life are mostly mental. They're not physical, they're mental. We don't live 2,000 years ago where we have to go hunting, we have to go to war and whatnot. Most people on the planet don't have to go hunting. Most people on the planet don't have to go to war. So the physical aspect of our existence is not what it used to be. However, the mental aspect can be very, very challenging. And this is something that I've touched on many times in the past. And this is something that I truly believe that on the crappy days, you are doing sets and reps for your mind, not the body. And so this is what I think about every single time I'm kind of feeling like, damn, I'm not feeling the best to train. I still do it, and I still go through the motions, and this has kind of been a repetitive pattern with me, and this is what's carried me from all these freaking days in a row of squatting, is that some days I just go into this mindset that today I'm doing sets and reps for my mind. And I get through it. And the funny thing is, after I get through whatever I'm doing for the session, I feel better physically, and I definitely feel better mentally. Like I've achieved something. I've gone over an obstacle. Adversity has been dealt with in a way. I always say to you guys to do that as well. Like if you ask yourself, what are you doing currently in your life that is training you mentally? Like if you think to yourself that you only do things that are comfortable and you are ready for, I don't know if that's hardship. I don't know if that's, anything difficult. I love to train. I love the barbell. And if I can get two things out of the barbell, I can get the physical aspect and I can get the mental, why not? Why not? And days like this do happen. They happen for all of us. The videos that I post, it's usually of me training and me talking about training. And the assumption might arise that all Ivan does is train. It's not that. So the training sessions take an hour, maybe hour and a half in a day. And then there's the other 22, 23 hours of the day. What goes on there? Basically the same as your life. Same stuff. Okay, you might not be a nurse. You might not have 2 kids and a wife and a house and the rest of that. But you have your own variations. You go to school, you do this job instead of that job. You have a social life, maybe much bigger than mine because you're younger and you're kind of in the fray of, finding a wife, finding a partner, whatever the case might be. You also have a very, very busy aspect. I remember I used to go out a lot, before I met my wife, before we settled down and started a family. We're talking about, I used to go out Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. For you guys in Adelaide, I used to go to the Alamo on Thursdays. On Fridays, we used to go to, I think it was Apple. There was a club called Apple in the city. On Saturdays, we'd hit like the Heaven or HQ or someplace like that. On Sundays, we'd go to the Lion. Rinse and repeat. I'd go to the uni, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A lot of times Friday as well. And on top of all of that, I used to play basketball, which is a funny and another story, because I reckon the reason why I saw the end of my career in basketball is because, I replaced basketball with a lot of social outings. I saw the end of my potential, and that kind of started eating away. And all of a sudden, I found myself, I'm going out 4 days a week, and I'm getting drunk 4 days a week as a 20-year-old. So I understand where you might be coming from. That's a very, very busy thing to do. Having said all of that, I still think you can cop an hour a day. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. And I know I've spoken about going out 4 days a week or whatever. You can do something. And I think if you do something, you are getting, let's say, a millimeter progress in your physical, and definitely you're getting centimeters, if not meters, of mental progress. It might not sound sexy to you, but take it from me, maybe I'm a little bit older than you, maybe I'm a lot younger than you. I think that you need to train your mind. I really think you need to train your mind. Hardship, training when you're cold, taking cold showers, taking cold plunges, training when you don't want to, training when you're sore, training when you know you're not going to perform well for whatever reason. These are all very good things to have, because life often is about doing things you do not want to do. You don't want to study today, but you should. You have to study today. Think about what separates the population out here. 8 billion people on the planet. There are people who just do whatever they want to do. And how far do they get to? How far do they get to in life? Not very far, man. I don't think I've ever met a doctor that hasn't hated the idea of studying for another freaking exam. Of course. But they suck it up, and they get through it, and they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they see the rewards at the end of the tunnel. That's what this is. Sets and reps. They are doing sets and reps, and they're studying. You can do sets and reps with your weights. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is work that needs to be done for you to get somewhere. And that's how I view these things. A lot of people don't think about these aspects, but I do. I see, people struggle with mental health on a daily basis. And I often ask myself, man, how do these people get to this stage? My girlfriend left me, I'm suicidal now. Dude, I have no problem with you feeling bad. I felt bad once upon a time. I know exactly what it feels like. But that cannot be your treatment to run away, to flee. Enjoy the suffering. Feel the suffering. Yes, life also has lots of suffering in it. You must stay for the suffering. It is unfair. It is against Mother Nature. It's against the laws of the universe for you to accept the good times, but not accept the bad times. My friend, life is ups and downs. Ups and downs. If you want good times, you must also accept the bad times. Simple as that. And some people, they just want to go from a high to a high to a high to a high to a high. Okay, you might get away with that for a little while, but eventually there's going to be a low equivalent of all of the highs put together. And that, my friend, is going to be very, very scary for you if you don't practice hardship, practice struggling. Do a cold plunge. Like I said, do a cold shower. Do something where you are extremely uncomfortable. Hell, do a 20 rep squat program. See where your mental ends up being there. So if you can get through a really, really grueling high rep squat set, I'm talking about where you're seeing stars, right? You go through that in the morning and you go to work and somebody's giving you crap. The boss is shitting all over you. Your girlfriend leaves you. That experience is going to be so much easier to deal with because it's nowhere near the freaking difficulty of dealing with shit amount of weight on your back for a shit amount of long time, right? That is disgustingly painful for a very, very long time. That's how I view these things. I'm just normal fella, just like you are. I'm not some sort of guy that's just flying from one Ferrari to another jet. That is crap. And a lot of these guys on social media who claim to live like that probably don't live that like that themselves. But that is the image they want to portray. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help anybody. I feel like this type of content, if I show you what my life is about, you know, with obviously limitations, because I want to have some privacy as well. I think that is a healthy thing when people kind of see and understand that, yes, Ivan is also copying shit and doing things that he doesn't want to do. Yes, I have lots of responsibility. I don't just train. I love my family, and sometimes family life and working life gets in the way with training, but that's fine. That's the way it is. That's the way I want it. No, I'm not just training, sleeping, and eating, and that's all that's going on. Far from it. Appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.